Vice-Chancellor, Lord Bishop, Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Packer was brought up in Kent in southeast England and holds his grandparents, Mother Angela and his sister Leslie in great affection. He left school at 16 and drifted through many different jobs over a 3-year period. And he remarks that although he disliked bullish men, he did like ordered organizations and had enjoyed both the Cubs and the Scouts. He thought of the Army as a caring and trustworthy organization that would bring people on, and his strong belief in fairness and justice drew him to the Royal Military Police, and he wanted to make his mother proud, which I imagine will strike a few chords here today. On the 19th of February 2008, when Phil was injured on operational duty, he sustained injuries to his heart and ribs and catastrophic damage to his spinal cord. Just over a year later, he embarked on 3 physical challenges within a 6-month period that would inspire millions. He rode the English Channel, completed the London Marathon on crutches over 14 days, and literally hauled himself up the sheer rock face of El Capitan, the extraordinary vertical rock face in Yosemite, California, completing over 4,250 pull-ups in 4 days. Indeed, his guest today is his good friend Karen Sullivan Vance of Western Oregon University, who we first met following the El Capitan expedition. Phil's efforts overall have raised over £1.3 million for the wounded. 9 months later, he climbed the 3 peaks for sport relief with Kate Silverton and was joined by Sir Steve Redgrave and Sir Clive Woodward. In April 2010, just 1 year after his first marathon, Phil took part in his second. This time he completed 26 miles in 26 hours for 26 different charitable causes. A young person from each charity walked a mile with him. In 2012, Phil faced his toughest challenge, walking 2,012 miles throughout every county of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, including a traverse of our own university, to meet young people, raise awareness of his charity, and to forge regional relationships. With Phil's spinal cord injury, the effort of walking 1 mile is calculated to be the equivalent of 3 to 4 miles for someone without spinal cord injury. By that calculation, Phil has walked the equivalent of 310 marathon distances in 331 days. The aim of each of these arduous physical endeavors has not simply been to raise money for charity, but also, perhaps more significantly, to raise positive awareness for those people who face either challenge or adversity in their lives. As Phil puts it, anyone who suffers from a physical or mental disability, medical condition, deprivation, injury, wounding, or are a young carer. When Phil talks of adversity and challenge, he uses these terms in a broad sense. There is an obvious temptation to think of Packer simply as a man of action, which he very clearly is. But he's also, and perhaps fundamentally, a man of reflection. He talks of childhood issues more than injury issues, with a need to prove himself to himself that predates his military injuries. In the course of his work, Phil has raised millions and inspired millions. His fundraising and charity support has not only led to national recognition, but numerous awards. In 2009, he was named Fundraiser of the Year at the Pride of Britain Awards and received the Helen Rollason Award at the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. In 2010, he received an MBE military in the Queen's New Year Honours List. After a military career that spanned 17 years, Phil retired from the armed forces to embark on a new life, one where he can make a positive difference to the lives of young people. He has made the mental wellness and well-being of young people post-trauma his business and duty remains the driving force in his life. Phil's aim is to deliver inspiration, create greater inclusion, and to influence in the areas of self-harm, depression, and mental wellness at the highest level in order to improve the vital support for young people experiencing trauma in their lives. Today, he dedicates all his time and energy to enthusing and supporting young people who face adversity through his charitable organisation, the British Inspiration Trust, or BRIT, and from his direct support as an ambassador or patron to a number of charities, including the Prince's Trust and the NSPCC. He is an outstanding example to us all. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of his role as Provost Officer in the British Army and outstanding and inspirational charitable activities, in the name of the Council and of the Senate, I present to you for admission to the degree of Master of Arts in Psychological Trauma, honoris causa, in this university, Phil Packer, MBE.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Psychological Trauma, honoris causa, in this university. It gives me great pleasure to invite Major Phil Packer to address the congregation.
I'm a little bit wobbly, but thank goodness I haven't got to wear high heels. I was just watching everybody coming up, wobbly. I had a great position, a great seat to see everyone greet the professor with a fantastic smile, and I could see on so many faces how much this means to you today. And I feel a bit of a fraud because I haven't been studying, really. Never went to university, so this is all quite new to me. But I'm going to just take a moment just to look around because this is just an extraordinary place to be. It's quite overwhelming, really. I've got less than 5 minutes. That was the brief, to keep it short. I'm not John Bishop. I haven't got lots of jokes. And I haven't really got lots of pearls of wisdom. I don't think you really need to hear anything like that. But I stumbled into the situation I'm in because I acquired a disability, something that I had never had before. And with an organisation like the British Army, there aren't that many people serving who have disabilities, or there weren't then. So you've got to move on. You've got to adapt to the situation, and that's what I had to do. If I hadn't have been injured, I wouldn't be standing here. I'd probably still be serving. But what I have learnt is that I had to move away a little bit from the military and have a new life with new principles and new aims and new, I suppose, a different role than I had before. I'd always been in uniform, and suddenly I was not in uniform. I wasn't part of a big organisation, and the things I've done, I've only done because it felt it was the right thing to do at the time. Purely perhaps because of the charity that I raised the money for, or because I was injured. I think a lot of media attention came along with that, and that's probably why people know a little bit about what I've done. But there are so many people achieving so many extraordinary things without that kind of press and media attention. So it's not the fact that you're singled out, it's that a lot of people are trying very hard to adapt to their disabilities in life. So I wouldn't say this is advice, but perhaps you might feel that now that you are here, you might have a little bit of capacity, because you've probably been right up against it right until you're sat here now. And if you do have that little bit of capacity, I would ask you just to remember one thing, which is in the last year, the amount of voluntary hours of students from your university amounted to 29,000 voluntary hours in the community, which is an extraordinary achievement. But if you could carry on that in whatever you do next, what I can say is that there are some people that just slip through the charity net or slip through support within their community. And if you are able to give just a little bit to change one life, it will make a huge difference. I try to do things in a slightly different way. I try to enthuse people to join the journey that I'm on to support young people. And the only way to do that is to be collectively powerful. I don't think you can do it on your own. In fact, it's just very, very difficult to do. But if you're able to do it as part of an organisation, or perhaps continue a relationship with your university or the community that you live in, you have the ability, clearly, to make a huge difference because of the talent, the raw talent that you have. So I wish you the very best. It's very weird to sort of be here because I really want to fling my hat in the air. I've never done it before. But I like to say thank you because this is obviously a very special day for you, but I can certainly say that I will never forget this day and never forget Chester. So thank you very much indeed.